Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and I am beyond excited today, as I usually am, but even more so than normal because we get to look at the newest of the Think Art figures, the new 1/35th scale Styracosaurus. This is the newest in the line. There have been 3 previously as far as these figures go. We had a Mosasaurus, and we also had an Allosaurus, and now we've got our first herbivore in the series, which is the Styracosaurus. As far as the box, you can see a beautiful image here with a little cardboard slip cover type thing here with the Styracosaurus head looking at you right there. And then up here, even though it's upside down currently, it does say Think Art. Really nice looking presentation overall. Then you've got a silhouette of the Styracosaurus here on the side, and of course the Styracosaurus itself. And it does tell you that it is episode 3, end of the season. So I hope that doesn't mean that's the end of this line, because they honestly are fantastic looking figures continuously. I have been nothing but impressed by every single figure, and I'm sure that'll be the same case here with the Styracosaurus. So let's go ahead, break this box open, and get a look at it. So right away, as we are opening it, as soon as you take the top of the box off, this is inside, and you've got some very cool information on the Styracosaurus all over right there, along with an image of what I do believe was the digital sculpt of the figure, giving you an idea of what the size is and everything. Then we've also got the scale and the material used down here. That same similar shot to what we saw of the Styracosaurus on the front. And then again, like I said, all the info here, along with some info here on Think Art and staying up to date with their Facebook page and all that fun stuff. And then once you actually pick this up, you can slide it up. You can see that in here is our Styracosaurus, and you've also got a little pre-order limited gift here, which is really cool. And I think that you can still get the limited gift. I believe it's limited to the first certain amount of people that order this, so if you are interested in getting the limited gift after you actually see what it is, make sure you get your order in very soon. So let's go ahead and break our Styracosaurus actually out of the box now and take a look at it. So we've got our base right there, which definitely looks to be a very wet, muddy type of an area. And then our Styracosaurus right here, who sits very nicely on his base. And wow, this thing is absolutely amazing looking at first glance in person. So incredibly striking, but so beautifully natural looking at the same time. Really impressed with this overall first glance that I've got here of it. Everything as far as the sculpt and paint looks to be as top-notch as it possibly gets when it comes to a Styracosaurus figure. And just because we're here right now, let's go ahead and bring out this limited edition gift that came with the Styracosaurus. And that is this guy here, which is a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull. And that is extremely cool. There hasn't actually been a Tyrannosaurus Rex yet in the Think Art line, but this skull looks incredibly nice looking, honestly. The sculpt work of the skull alone is just fantastic, and it comes with that little base there with the Tyrannosaurus Rex nameplate down there under it. Really incredible looking for sure, and such a cool addition to this set. If you get your order in early enough and you can acquire this Rex skull, trust me, you definitely want it, because it is such a cool addition overall and something that I'm really happy now to have in my collection. We'll slide him out of there and focus currently on the Styracosaurus, but let's go ahead and get a closer look at our beautiful Styracosaurus and check out all the wonderful sculpt and detail up close. So starting up here at the head, you can see that the head sculpt is incredible looking. There is just so much sculpt and detail throughout this Styracosaurus. It is actually quite staggering just how much is included. If we just look at the side of the face here, look at how much unbelievable sculpt and detail is all over this Styracosaurus. It is breathtaking how much movement is shown in the face. So many creases here in the front area of the face area when it comes to so many creases and everything all throughout the face area. Lots of beautiful skin wrinkling going on, really giving you the sense of this being a very large animal, a very large ceratopsian. Both sides look equally as beautiful when it comes to the sculpt work, and it's been honestly breathtakingly beautifully painted. This, of course, is painted by the original artist that created the Styracosaurus, and that is always one of the coolest aspects of ordering one of these Think Art figures, is that you actually get the original artist to paint it for you, every single time that you get one. That is just amazing to me, and that guarantees that you're always going to have an amazing paint job like this. And you can see just how beautiful that paint application is. Every single area that you look, it is just absolutely amazing looking to me. Really beautifully sculpted out nostrils there. Nice detailing around the nostrils as well. Really nice sculpt work around the eye. Look at that. That is just absolutely gorgeous. The eye itself is painted quite nicely as well. Again, perfectly with a nice orangish color and a black pupil. You can also see it glossing and glistening in the light very, very realistically, and both eyes are just like that. Look how beautiful that shines. Just like a real dinosaur's eye would shine. Beautiful detailing here in this front horn as well, and the paintwork brings the detail out so nicely with a nice dry brushing. Lots of areas have that dry brushing all up here and all around the eye, and it really makes everything just jump out at you so nicely. This has been painted so insanely beautifully. Really nice detail here on the beak also. You can see all sorts of cracks and crevices throughout the beak, and again the paint application is top notch there as well. You can see many different tones of color throughout the beak there, and that just looks fantastic again, just like every single other area of this Styracosaurus does. Really nice color variation throughout the areas of the face also. You can see dark areas of grays and lighter grays and almost like a light brownish type color almost right there, and then grays, and it's just so much color all over the place on this. As we come up here onto the frill, you can again pick up on how incredibly nice the sculpt work is as far as the skin texture, and you can also see that these spikes that run along the side of the Styracosaurus look unbelievable, and again are just painted to the absolute max of perfection. These are exactly what I would expect ceratopsian horns to look like, and exactly what I like to see in my ceratopsian models. There's just such beautiful sculpt, and again, just like down on the nose horn, you can see cracks and crevices throughout the horns as well. So there is no sloppiness, there is no laziness anywhere when it comes to the sculpt and paint of this figure. Really incredible, kind of like very large scoots that run up along the middle of the head of the Styracosaurus up onto the frill. You can see that the actual frill is painted really nicely with like this yellowish brown type color, and then it has like a reddish orange in the middle. I think that is such a realistic color, helps to give the Styracosaurus such a super flashy look, but also looks incredibly realistic. It is honestly amazing how well painted this Styracosaurus is. As we get back here into the neck, you can see all the very beautiful scaling, really nice fine scaling. You can also see the muscles of the neck tensing and flexing as the Styracosaurus kind of appears to be charging up almost at something. Maybe it's running up to defend a baby or something from a predator, and it really means business, and you can definitely see that it's shining through when it comes to the muscles tensing and flexing in the neck right there. Beautiful skin folding and stuff, and some hanging skin here in the throat. Really, really nice looking, beautiful chest muscles there as well. As we move over into the shoulder blade, you can't see the shoulder blade protruding from the skin there really, really beautifully. Really nice scale work. Look how nice that scale work is all over the place. And you can really see just the movement portrayed there again with like certain areas of the skin folding and skin stretching right there. Really nice skin wrinkling down here in the front leg, especially in the crease of the leg here as the leg is bent. Look how incredible that movement is shown and shining through here. You can see the elbow as well. As you get down into the foot, it beautifully transitions to a dark gray. It looks incredible. The foot sculpt again is just jaw-dropping. This is definitely, and I can tell you this already, it's definitely my favorite Think Art figure so far, which is crazy because each one has been amazing, but this one is just absolutely blowing me away. Beautiful skin texture as we move up here into the stomach region, up into the back. You can pick up on some large osteoderms and stuff. Really, really nice scale work. Look how incredible that looks. And it's all so beautifully painted once again. You can see the skin stretching here in the lower part of the stomach, pulling off of this leg as this leg is pulling it back. It looks incredible, and again, the paint application is just top notch. Beautiful muscle tone here in the rear thigh, and you can also see the hip bone protruding from the skin. And look at the scales. The scales are so many different sizes, different variations, looking extremely realistic. As you move down into the lower part of the leg, you can really see just how nice that skin texture looks. Unbelievable looking for sure. Really nicely sculpted foot, beautifully painted. We're trying to focus on the base back there now, stupid camera. Look how incredible that looks. You can also see the nails shining and glistening like real nails would. That's also incredible. Then we get up here into the tail. You can see again some skin folding and skin wrinkling as we lead out to the end of the tail. Really beautiful skin texture on the underside of the tail as well. And it comes out to a very nice curve, very natural looking curve. If you look at the opposing side, you're not going to see the neck on this side due to the Styracosaurus having its head turned so sharply here. Kind of also has its head pushed down like it's about to project this horn into something right there. So it really does look to be in a very defensive pose. But if we come back here into the front leg, you can again see the shoulder blade up there a little bit, but you can really see how incredible the movement is portrayed throughout with so much skin wrinkling and skin moving and folding, even right here. Look at that, that looks amazing. And the paint apps, I love the overall coloration of this Styracosaurus. The paint scheme in general is so natural looking, but somehow looks incredibly flashy and bright, but at the same time very realistic. An incredible choice as far as the paint scheme of the Styracosaurus goes. Again, as we move down into the legs, so many wrinkles and skin folds and just cracks and crevices, so much just shown when it comes to even the skin texture, but the movement in general of the dinosaur. Really beautifully sculpted foot. Again, even the rear sides of the feet look incredible. The undersides also are sculpted perfectly. You've even got the detailing on the underside of the foot. They did not skip an area at all on this Styracosaurus. Really nicely done with like some skin folds and skin wrinkling. Both legs are pushing against each other, and you can see the skin kind of bunching up here in the stomach region. Really nicely sculpted scales again all over the place. Up here in the back, you can see some very large scales and some small scales and some osteoderms and stuff all over. It is unbelievable how nicely sculpted this is. You can also see the spinal column that runs down along the animal, kind of has like a scoop type of an appearance. Really nice muscle tone here in this rear leg. The Styracosaurus definitely looks like it's a very strong animal, like it should. You can kind of see in like the joints of the legs, you can see like the skin hanging over. It almost looks like it's showing off the seams of where the legs were put together, but I think that's more so like the skin here, like some hanging skin coming over that area of the leg. So that looks really, really cool. Beautifully sculpted foot down here as well. Beautifully painted. Again, the transition between that gray and the primary lighter body color there, that like linen type color, is just so smooth. The paint job of this is just unbelievably nice, and I've said that 100 times probably already, but it is just super, super incredible to me. Really nice movement of the skin here, back here, right here also on the rear of the thigh, and then we lead out the length of the tail. The tail's nice and short, really beautiful looking as well, and you can also get a sense of the skin texture and everything, even the underside. Look how beautifully painted this is. So this thing is just off the charts awesome. And then as far as the base goes, you can see the footprints of the Styracosaurus here. It's really nicely sculpted, and it definitely has a very strong gloss to it, and it also in general looks like water, so maybe we're on like the side of a riverbed or something, and the Styracosaurus was maybe getting a drink and now it's run down to protect its young, or maybe in general it's just kind of coming down to take a drink, and this is just the way it appears. I think it's more of a defensive pose though, as that's really the way all the muscles tensing and all the movement of the dinosaur shown really leads me to believe. But the base is fantastic. Look at how beautifully sculpted this is. Really nice attention to detail everywhere when it comes to this type of a base, and that water effect looks incredibly cool. Maybe it's just raining at this time and the ground is incredibly soaked, and that's why you see the footprints so beautifully, really nicely shining through in the mud and everything. That water looks extremely realistic. I love the base. You've got a very nice soft underside, so it's incredibly professional. It's not going to damage whatever you put it on. Incredibly nice looking base for an unbelievable looking Styracosaurus. Again, the Styracosaurus, to go onto the base, all you really need to do is just set his feet in the footprints, and he stands perfectly. Being a four-legged dinosaur, a quadrupedal dinosaur, you're really not going to have any problems when it comes to him balancing and falling over or anything like that, although he does have that 1 foot up in the air, which does help to make you think that maybe he could potentially have some balancing issues, but that is not the case at all. He stands perfectly, and wow, this whole overall scene honestly is just amazing looking. I am absolutely loving this from every side that I see it. These Think Art figures are just getting better and better with each release. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for these dinosaur figures from Think Art, because they are just continuously impressing me with each release. And wow, this Styracosaurus is just absolutely awesome. I'm just too excited, guys. I can't get over this Styracosaurus. So for a length, as far as the size goes, you're about 8 inches or 20, maybe 20 and a half centimeters long. And then if we go for a height to the toppest part of that horn there, you're about 4 3/4 inches or about 12 centimeters. So just shy of 5 inches tall. As far as a size comparison goes, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex standing next to the Styracosaurus, helping to give us a good idea of how this Styracosaurus sizes up next to him, and you should definitely get a pretty good idea of how well it does, in fact, because the Papo T-Rex is a pretty big figure, but the Styracosaurus is no slouch, honestly. He's not huge, but he's definitely not small. Honestly, a really, really beautiful size. And if you look at these two together, you've got the Papo Rex there, which we know is an incredibly highly detailed figure. Honestly, this Think Art figure, I think, might be a little more detailed than even a Papo is, and that just really speaks to the sculpt work of Surachai Junyeaw, who is the sculptor of these figures, the overall mastermind behind Think Art. Honestly, kudos to him and his sculpting ability, because this Styracosaurus is just awesome. And for another size comparison, here are the other two Think Art figures that were released previously, the Allosaurus and the Mosasaurus, and unfortunately I think the two in the back there are now sold out. They are no longer in production. I could be wrong about the Mosasaurus. There may be a chance that you can get a hold of the Mosasaurus still, so definitely inquire with Surachai Junyeaw and Think Art if you are in fact interested, but I think that the other two are sold out now and now discontinued. They are no longer being made, which is unfortunate for anybody that is just now getting into the line, because honestly this line has been amazing so far, and I cannot wait to see again, like I said, what the future holds when it comes to these unbelievable dinosaur figures that Think Art is creating. But this Styracosaurus next to those two, you should have a pretty good idea if you've seen any of my other reviews, or if you happen to have purchased any of these figures in the past from Think Art, just how big the Styracosaurus is. And honestly, looking at all three together, they look so insanely awesome. I am so happy to have these in my collection. So this Think Art Styracosaurus is just absolute majestic beauty. This thing is so incredibly unbelievable in person. I honestly just cannot stress that enough. The longer I just sit here and look at it, the more impressed I am. This thing is so beautiful in person, and this is easily a 1000% recommendation from me. Again, I've been kind of trying to stress to you guys how cool it is that Think Art actually has the original artist that sculpts the figures and paints the prototype. He actually is the one that paints these figures, the ones that you would buy from him. So you're really not going to find that too many times with anybody else or any other company. That's just not something that you get more often than not. You normally have a figure get sent to a factory, the factory paints it, it never looks quite as good as the prototype, that sort of thing. That is not what you're going to find here with Think Art. You will never find that here. You've always got this painted by the original artist, and that is just absolutely amazing, and that is why this Styracosaurus looks as absolutely amazing as it does. Again, being painted by Surachai Junyeaw, it is top of the line. Everything on this figure as far as the coloration goes is so beautifully done. The skin tone, everything is just incredibly realistic looking. I am a huge fan of the paint job. I think the paint job that they went with here has such a beautiful, very striking appearance to it. Some areas look really nice and bright as far as like the frill goes with those yellows and reddish oranges and stuff. It looks amazing, but at the same time, the overall coloration on this looks incredibly natural. It definitely and without question looks like the type of color scheme that I would expect to find on a real living Styracosaurus. It looks super realistic, incredibly well done, and honestly everything on this is just beautiful as far as the paint. No sloppiness anywhere. Even the eyes are painted and glossed to perfection. The horns all have very nice weathering to them. Everything is just great overall, and that's not just on the dinosaur itself. The paint on the base is just top notch as well. So much beautiful coloration, variation of color and everything, giving the base an incredibly realistic look, and I love the water effect that's on it as well. The base overall is sculpted beautifully, but as is our Styracosaurus, there's so much movement shown throughout the Styracosaurus, so much incredible movement everywhere, so much beautiful sculpt work as far as the scales go. I think the scales and everything are just beautiful. So many different variations of size when it comes to the scales. You've got some osteoderms and scoots and everything all over the dinosaur. Really nice sculpt work within the horns and everything as far as the creases and cracks and crevices and everything, the type of stuff that you would expect to see on horns and everything of a Styracosaurus. Even the nails are painted beautifully, giving a nice realistic gloss. The pose on it is fantastic. Again, it has that very defensive looking pose, like maybe it's just run down to defend its young or something from a predator. So this Styracosaurus is just, like I said, absolute majestic beauty. It's like a really nice looking scene taken straight out of time, like a snapshot of the prehistoric world, a very realistic looking diorama of a Styracosaurus, something that most definitely happened in many times back in the days of the dinosaurs. So really, this thing is just amazing. Honestly, you really need to just buy one, get it in person, and you'll be able to agree with me 100%. This is a fantastic looking Styracosaurus. So if you want to buy one of these, I will throw a link in the description to where you can do just that by contacting Surachai Junyeaw on Facebook and ordering one of these for yourself. If you happen to be one of my viewers that does not have Facebook or anything like that, I'll be kind enough to help you order one. Just contact me, and then I will contact Surachai Junyeaw and then kind of be your middleman, I guess, to get you guys this unbelievable Styracosaurus, because I really want anybody that is interested in this to have a chance at owning it, because it's honestly an absolute work of art. And due to the fact that these figures are only out for a limited time before they disappear into the darkness of dinosaurs past, I want everyone that does want one to definitely have the opportunity to in fact own one. So make sure you contact either me or follow the link in the description to Surachai Junyeaw's Facebook page. Either way, we will get you one of these Styracosaurus models if you are in fact interested in picking one up. This unbelievable Styracosaurus only costs $70 US, and that does not include shipping. Shipping would differ because it does come from Thailand. Surachai Junyeaw and Think Art is actually a Thai company, so it does have quite a ways to go. So shipping would probably depend on where you are exactly. But however much it is, I can assure you that it is definitely worth the cost to get this Styracosaurus. Again, make sure you order it right away, because the first 30 people to order it are the ones that will receive that very cool limited edition gift of the Tyrannosaurus Rex skull. So again, contact either me or Surachai Junyeaw. Make sure you order this unbelievable Think Art Styracosaurus. But before you do that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of any future videos, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.